Hey guys, I'm here with another video, and this is nothing related to cards. This is actually a subscribe contest for Ricky Russo, who is one of my favorite YouTubers that I've ever seen. He's having an awesome contest. He always has contests. He gives tons of stuff away. He's very generous. He breaks the coolest amount of high-end products, and I love it. And I'm jealous, and I can't wait to actually be out in my job making money myself, so maybe I can get some things. But he's awesome. Subscribe to him. You already are, I'm sure, so it doesn't matter. But if you're not, then subscribe to him. Ricky Russo. I'll put his link in the description. So yeah, his contest is your all-time favorite team. Could be any sport. Pick your players, etc. So everybody knows I'm a huge Warriors fan. Rocking my Stephen Curry alternate. I'm not doing the Warriors. Everybody knows I'm a huge Lions fan. I'm not doing the Lions. I've always been a big Braves fan. Chipper left, so I lost a little bit of my heart when that happened. But I'm not on the Braves. I actually am doing my favorite of all time, my favorite player of all time's team, who I grew to love too, and I still root for, even though they've seen better days, so to speak. That is the Philadelphia 76ers, and everybody knows my favorite player is. I don't even need to say it, but I will say it in my all-time favorites. So again, Ricky Russo, subscribe to him. I'm shameless plugging, and I don't care. So. Thanks again, Ricky, for the contest. I appreciate that. Anyway, all-time favorite. I'm just going to do my 12, so I'm basically going to do my bench players, my sixth man, and my starting lineup. It was hard. I'm not going to lie. But first off, the end of my bench, I'm going to have Aaron McKie. And everybody else will be questioning why. But Aaron McKie obviously didn't have any gaudy numbers. He wasn't very flashy. But he did his job. He was very instrumental in the 2000-2001 title run, well, I should say Eastern Conference title run, getting to the finals. He was a solid player. Yes, that was almost single-handedly carried by Iverson, but remember, you do have to have teammates, and McKie did his job too. So Aaron McKie is right down there. He was a big mentor to Allen Iverson, in case you didn't know, as well. And that's one of AI's favorite teammates and people overall. So I've always appreciated Aaron McKie. Next, I have Hershey Hawkins. Hershey was very, very good back in his day. I think he was a very prolific three-point shooter. I'm wanting to think he's up there in the total three-point shots ever made. I know he was a pretty solid scorer. He averaged around 20 a game. He was a very good player. Hershey Hawkins did work. I'm looking to get an autograph of him too. So next up, Hal Greer. Now, Hal Greer I have always liked from his college days. Obviously, when I'm looking back and watching a little bit, not old enough to say that exactly. He was a very good scorer. I think he might have the franchise record for most games, and he may honestly be the franchise leader in overall points. I could be wrong on that one. I don't recall that one for sure. I know AI is obviously higher in scoring, but I'm not sure if he had the most points with the Sixers or if it's overall. I don't know. I'd have to check on that. So that's those are the first three members of my bench. The next up will be Dikembe Mutombo, again an instrument of the 2000-2001 little season. Defensive Player of the Year, rebounding, defending. Everybody knows him by his finger wag, his Geico commercials. But Dikembe was a force, an absolute force, and he's not appreciated as much as he should be. I have an autograph of him, and I love Dikembe Mutombo. It's one of my favorites. Next up, bench player, I have Billy Cunningham, also known as Kangaroo Kid, who was an absolute stud. There's not much to say about him. He was a great scorer. He's a great rebounder. He could pass. He could do everything. He averaged about 20, 10, and 5 throughout his career, which is insane because he is a forward. And often he played center, too. So Billy Cunningham, absolute beast. Kangaroo Kid, what can you say? And then my last member of the bench is Andre Iguodala, who is one of my current favorite players still because he's still playing. He's seen better days in terms of athleticism and whatnot, but Andre was an absolute phenomenon when he played. He could fly, he could pass, he could board. When the original AI left, he averaged about 20 points, 6 boards, 6 assists. He was killing it. He got a lot of unnecessary criticism in Philadelphia. They expected him to be the next Iverson, which wasn't happening. He's not as good of a scorer. He didn't have that mentality that I'm going to score. He's very, very unselfish, and because of that, people kind of drove him away. But I was appreciative for everything he did for Philadelphia. He was awesome. Everybody hates from Philadelphia on Iguodala because they said he wasn't aggressive enough. If they wanted a defender, they wouldn't have paid so much money, etc. Well, here's the deal. Iguodala, he's not a #1 scorer. He never has been. He's always been a 2 to 3 scorer, and now he's even like a 5 on the Warriors. But he's a lockdown defender, first team all defense. He's been an all-star. He does all great things. He's an awesome teammate, good individual overall. So next up, I have my 6th man. I have Moses Malone, which is crazy. You'd think he'd be starting, but once you hear my starting lineup, you'll understand. Moses was an absolute boss. He could board better than almost anyone. Dude could score. Moses Malone was just a great, great player who did his job. He did everything he could. Now I'm going to go through my starting lineup. I'm going to start with my point guard. I picked Mo Cheeks. There isn't technically tons of great point guards, so to speak, from the Philadelphia 76ers. A lot of people consider Iverson a point guard. I would not. He played it a little bit. I went with pure point, and I went with Mo Cheeks, who was a decent scorer, but he was a good facilitator. He could really run the offense. He was fun. He was fun to watch, but he did all the intangibles. So I love Mo Cheeks. I have him as my point. Next up, we're going to go to the front court. At center, I put Wilt Chamberlain. You know, what can you say? 28 points, 24 boards, 7 assists, MVP, 100 points. I don't know what else to say. Wilt Chamberlain's self-explanatory. He's my starting center. For the power forward, I picked Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley, one of the most underrated players I've seen. I wish he signed. I would get some autographs of him. Just an absolute tank underneath. You know, was very undersized, but he got you your 23 to 25 points. He got your 15-ish rebounds, and he triple doubles with assists. Could pass. He's just an absolute very skilled small big man, if that makes sense. Because he was a power forward, but he didn't play like it. Or I'm sorry, he did play like it, but he didn't have the frame like it. My small forward, I have Dr. J, Julius Erving. You know, he brought Philadelphia to prominence. The Doctor, slam dunk, aficionado. He was everything that Philadelphia loved back in the day, and I enjoy Julius Erving, and he is on my wants list of autographs. I need a Julius Erving ASAP. And last up, I'm not saying he's the best Sixer of all time, though he is very close, if not. But he is my favorite player of all time, and that is Allen Iverson. I could go on and on about him. You know, one of the best playoff scorers of all time. MVP, multiple All-Stars, multiple first-team All-NBAs, did everything, brought a sense of positive and winning environment back to Philadelphia when they were struggling so much. It was very entertaining. One of the hardest working players, did not give up, he fought. If you know him by the practice rant and that's it, then don't speak to me. I absolutely hate the practice rant, because that is all people that talk about when they think of Iverson, and not everything else that he's done. So I get kind of frustrated whenever people talk about the practice rant with AI. I'm like, well, he's done so many other great things. And for that to be defining him really irritates me. I'm going to go ahead and say in the 2000-2001 playoffs, he carried that team. I know there was great players, but that team, in my opinion, if you look at the roster, you'd be shocked that they were a finals team. But AI carried that team. He played hard every single night. I wish he was still in the league, and he's still my favorite. I don't care. He's had some hard times in the past, some issues, still having some, but it doesn't bother me, because he'll always be my favorite, and he'll be my favorite Sixer, favorite player of all time, and that's not changing. So all I can say is the answer. That's the answer. He is the answer. But that's my 12-person roster for the Philadelphia 76ers of all time, capped off by my dude. And I hope you all enjoyed it. Just let me know what y'all think. But I'm really glad I got to do this video, and I'm sorry it's so long. I apologize to you, Ricky. 10 minutes. I know you're not used to long videos, but I really enjoyed this. So what can I say? Anyway, I'm gonna leave you at 10 minutes, and I'll catch y'all later. See ya.